All right, Greek Free Training here, checking out Average to Jack. Let's go, baby. Come on.
I made this post a few days ago as just a simple reminder that getting in shape isn't complicated because I don't lift 6 days a week, my workouts aren't 2 hours long, and I don't take a bunch of supplements or follow some extreme diet. Everything that I do to stay lean and jacked is simple, and my goal of this channel is to teach you how to do the same because my first few years in the gym were nothing but overwhelmed from the massive amount of information and contradictions. And I know you guys can relate to exactly what I'm describing because I get comments and messages from you every single day. So after making that post, someone replied and asked, "What is the fitness industry trying to feed us?" I told them the truth: complexity, artificial supplements that are actually harmful to your health and bad for you and that you don't need, gimmicks, trends, and the idea that you have to live in the gym or buy what they're selling to make progress. You guys have to understand the fitness industry literally makes billions every year, and it keeps growing because people keep searching for shortcuts. And the more confused you are, the more you buy. People want to believe it's complicated because that makes their excuses valid. But the reality is it's simple. It's always been simple. So the goal of this video is to show you the handful of things that actually matter to getting you jacked, things that only take a few hours a week and can put you in the best shape of your life. We're going to start with how many times a week you should be lifting. For 99% of people, 3 to 4 days is all you need, and 4 is probably better in the beginning since you'll get more practice overall. But as you advance in your lifting journey, doing less but with more intensity is probably the best bet. Most people don't need more workouts, they need better workouts, more intense workouts.
So he's got a good point. There are a lot of gimmicks out there. You got to work, get in there and bust your ass and work out, but you got to know what you're doing. Most people don't know what they're doing, and that's why they're having issues with their training. Like someone like me, a natural guy, not like all the guys out there like Solik and all those guys. If you want to work super hard in there and you got a plan and you know what you're doing, then you're actually going to get really good results. You guys got a point. You got to get in there. You got to work. You got to put the effort in. You can't rely on anything to get you there. The only person that get you there is you.
You train 3 or 4 days a week, you recover enough to actually get stronger from session to session. And getting stronger in a moderate rep range is why you build most muscle. It's not the pump. It's not some pyramid bicep workout. It's definitely not a shock the muscle routine you found on TikTok, and it's not a 2-hour long arm day. It's looking at your incline dumbbell press and seeing that you started with 45 pounds for 7 reps in each hand, and now a year later you're pressing 80s for 10 reps. And I want to repeat this point. Getting stronger in a moderate rep range is why you build most muscle. And this reminds me of when I was in the beginning stages of lifting. I would do something called 21s with a training partner, and we would start with 7 reps of barbell curls, and then we would literally pass it back and forth until we reached 21 reps, and then keep repeating until we couldn't move our arms. And now I look back and kind of just shake my head. Yes, it built some muscle, like maybe, but really all it did was give me a pump. And what I'm trying to get at is you don't need these fancy tricks or tactics like 21s that sound cool. We would have been better off just starting with 2 to 3 sets of 6 reps for the barbell curls, and then adding a repetition each week, and then eventually adding weight when we reach the top end of that rep range. And this is what I want you guys to understand. If your lifts aren't going up, your physique isn't changing. It's that simple. This is why I push 3 to 4 days so consistently. It allows a normal person to get stronger week after week, because if you think about it, you work a job, your sleep is probably okay, but it's not perfect. You're stressed most days. You're not hitting your macros or calories exactly like you should. You're not drinking enough water. Trying to train 6 days a week on top of all that is just going to burn you out because the other important things are so out of alignment. That's why they end up stalling, they get injured, or they eventually quit. 3 to 4 days fixes all of that because you recover, you progress, you stay consistent, you actually build strength week after week, and your physique changes because the training is finally working. And remember, most of you guys are just training to look good in normal clothes or at the beach and be strong and healthy for life. So in my opinion, 3 to 4 days a week is the most sustainable and will still get you 99% of your gains. Next, we're going to talk about walking at 10K steps a day. And I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this one, but walking handles more than people realize. It keeps you lean, it helps with digestion, it reduces overall stress, and it's going to improve your recovery. Because it's low effort, it's low fatigue, and once again, if it's done consistently, this is going to keep you lean without having to do complex cardio. And the next thing is going to be eating a real food diet. And for you guys that continue to watch my content, you're going to know that I talk about 3 to 4 day a week training and a real food diet. Like, I get so repetitive, but understand if you stick to whole foods, so meat, eggs, fruit, honey, potatoes, rice, maybe some vegetables, you automatically control your calories without tracking obsessively. Like, I'm seeing all these people using this like AI app. Like, I honestly shouldn't even shout it out on the channel because it's so much BS, but they literally email me every single week trying to get me to sponsor it. And it's like, You don't need an app when you're eating whole foods. Like if you're really trying to dial in and get like super lean, or, you have these like really concrete goals, yeah, it might be beneficial to track. But for the most part, when you control your calories with whole foods, you just automatically get lean. And I'm not saying you can't overeat on whole foods, but most people will be satiated after 3 to 4 whole food meals. And you avoid the constant hunger that's going to come from processed food. And I actually just made a full day of eating video breaking down, exactly what a whole food diet looks like and, what I consume. So I'll link that on the screen somewhere now if you want to see exactly what I eat in a day.
10K steps a day. If somebody's trying to actually lose weight, spruce up their steps daily, if they're trying to drop, want to probably get to 15 to 20K steps a day, they would also probably throw in some interval training. If you're already where you want to be and you're lean like me or this guy, then you don't really have to worry about your steps. You're probably going to get your steps just from like walking around every day or going to work out or grocery store or whatever. Your goal really is just to eat clean and to work out hard. Trying to do excess weight gain, you're going to do a surplus. If you do that surplus, you're going to have to beef up your carbs. You're also going to have to beef up your fat grams, as you're not going to gain much weight even if you beef up your carbs without beefing up your fat. Fat's going to help you gain that muscle mass. So start eating that peanut butter or whatever you got to do. Start getting those extra fat grams in. Start gaining that bulk bag if you're in a cut. But he's right. If it's someone who's actually trying to lose, try to beef up that step count of the day, and that'll be really beneficial for helping them get overall weight loss goals.
Before, we've talked about lifting, walking, and then eating real whole foods. Next is going to be getting sunlight. And I would almost guarantee that 80% of you right now are like, what does sunlight have to do with getting jacked or getting in shape? Sunlight is basically your body's start button. So if you're in tune with the research, when you get morning sunlight in your eyes, it tells your brain to turn on your energy, your focus, and basically your muscle building hormones. It's also going to set up your sleep clock so you can actually recover at night, because that's when muscle growth happens. Because most people stare at a screen, they rush to work, they sit inside under artificial lights all day, and they never actually see the sun. So their body never gets the signal to fully wake up, their energy stays low, their mood stays flat, and their sleep is going to get worse. And I can promise you guys, if you are trying to build muscle, that is going to kill your progress. And I really encourage you guys to do more research on vitamin D, maybe even get your vitamin D levels checked, and just the importance of getting daily sunlight, because it really does matter for your mood, for recovery, and then your testosterone. And how much sunlight you're going to need daily is obviously going to vary from person to person, but this is truly a super simple thing that could be why your testosterone is low and you're not making the best gains. And the next thing we're going to talk about is sleeping 7 to 9 hours. And this should be common sense, but common sense isn't always common practice. Look at it like this. If your sleep is bad, everything else suffers. Strength, testosterone, fat loss, recovery, all of it. Good sleep is one of the most powerful performance enhancers you can give yourself, and it's free. So what I do each night is I set my thermostat down to a cooler temp. Mine is normally around 66 degrees. Use blackout curtains and try to avoid your phone or any blue light a few hours before bed. I also take a magnesium glycinate supplement before bed for deeper sleep, so you can research that as well as vitamin D. And next, we're going to talk about hydration.
You got to sleep to grow. 7 to 9 hours is actually perfect. If you're not getting a lot of sleep because you got to work, I train people really early. I got to be up at 4, train at 5 a.m. If I get 5 or 6 hours, I come back home and take naps so I can still grow. So you got to recover from those hard workouts, especially leg days. So you got to sleep and you got to grow. And the only time you're going to grow is by getting that rest time. And a lot of that rest time comes during your sleep time as well. So hear what he has to say about hydration.
Even a little dehydrated ruins your strength, your pump, and your energy. And most guys walk around tired for no reason other than they barely drink any water. Once again, common sense isn't common practice. And an easy way to get a rough number of how much water you need in a day is to take your body weight and just cut it in half. That's going to give you the correct amount of ounces. Then you can go to Amazon or wherever and just buy yourself a dedicated stainless steel water bottle and just get as big of one as possible so you have to fill it up less times, and then actually track it each day.
An easier way to do it, if your pee is yellow, drink water. Keep drinking it till it's clear. My golden rule, 8 to 10 ounces with meals and in between meals, and that should get you where you need to be.
I actually find this whole time that you were simply dehydrated, and that's why your workouts were suffering. So it wasn't your program, it wasn't your diet, it wasn't anything other than you weren't drinking enough water. That's why I tell you guys so frequently to track. And I'm going to be honest, this one is the most boring and it's the most overused, but it's the most important. It's be consistent. And I really, really want you guys to understand this. You can do all the things I just laid out, but if you only last 2 weeks, nothing's going to happen. You must be consistent for months and then even years. So I want you to lift, walk each day, eat real food, get sunlight, sleep, hydrate, and repeat.
Consistency is the key. Even with all my clients, they travel a lot, so they might not get as much gains as someone like me because I live in the gym. I work on my clientele. Can't really make an excuse not to work out, but I actually love working out. I'm going to get it, whether it's in between working them out or get it after and stay when I'm done. Even if I'm tired, I might get a pre-workout or iced coffee and get in there and hit it because, again, you're not going to get the gains if you don't put in the work, and he's exactly right on that.
It's always worked, and people only miss it because they're too busy looking for something more complicated. And if you guys want a complete step-by-step program that works no matter your starting point, you can learn more by clicking the pinned comment under this video. I truly appreciate each and every one of you guys that comments and tunes into each video. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.
Greek Freak here. He has some good points. He's pretty knowledgeable, young guy. He's exactly right. The days is really good. If someone's not novice and they're a little more advanced, 4 days a week would be good. Novice means if they barely work out. But 4 days a week is really good for like the average person. Again, you can do push-pull Monday, legs, and then you can take a day off, cardio and abs, and you can throw your arms in on your push-pull days. So a day off in the middle of the week, and then so Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, then weekends off. So that's really good for the standard person. I like to do 5 days. I like to have that middle day. It's like I'm a big fan of working opposing muscles like arms together, and it's crucial for you, get all the muscles in every week. You're working out, you want to make sure that you're hitting those maximum reps for the bigger muscle group and the smaller muscle group. And if you don't hit 120, 150 reps a week for those bigger ones, you're probably not going to get much gains, which means you got to work out 2 days a week. The smaller ones, maybe 60 to 80. Shoulders, you could probably shoot for 80 to 100 or something like that. But it really just depends on what your goals are. If you really want to work arms and get those arms buff, have a bicep like the Greek Freak, yeah baby, come on, then you might want to work your arms multiple days. And arms can actually recover faster because it's a smaller muscle group. You do them on every other day. So if you want to do that and that's one of your goals, get in there and hit those arms and blast. Anyway, great video. The guy seems pretty cool, pretty knowledgeable. Greek Freak here. Thanks for coming out. I got more videos coming up. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you out. Peace, baby.
GreekFreakTraining.com. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. GreekFreakTraining.com. Let's go.